You think that audio that they put out was real?
Yeah, that was him. Nicki put that out there. That Nicki recorded that at the freak off in the Calabasas. She been waiting to drop that shit on me.
Yo, this drama is reaching new levels of insanity. According to Jaguar Wright, Nicki Minaj might be the mastermind behind the jaw-dropping leaked video of Meek Mill and Diddy. Allegedly, it's payback time for Meek after putting Nicki through some serious stuff 8 years ago. Apparently, Nicki has been holding on to some major resentment over how Meek treated her. She allegedly went to the extent of orchestrating the leak by paying off the bodyguard to take the fall. And let's not forget those wild allegations flying around about Diddy and Meek having some kind of affair. Lil Rod's lawsuit definitely added fuel to the fire, accusing Diddy of taking Meek to, well, let's just say Pound Town. And then bam, next thing we know, that tape of Diddy and Meek is all over social media, leaving everyone absolutely shook to their core. Talk about a plot twist straight out of a Hollywood thriller. You need to get in on this drama because Nicki did not come to play. But do you think there are a lot of undercover brothers in the industry? Oh no, Queen, we don't know anything about that. Okay, because it's been 6 full years since Nicki Minaj and Meek Mill called it quits, but the saga of their relationship just won't quit. New revelations are spilling out about just how wild Meek was during their 2-year stint together, including some seriously shocking secrets that Nicki's dropping. Can you even believe he allegedly spat on her? Seriously, what was going on there? I mean, let's be real, did anyone else find Nicki Minaj and Meek Mill to be like the most unexpected couple ever? They cooked up back in 2015, and even though they were both in the rap game and traveled in the same circles, it still caught everyone off guard. But hey, love works in mysterious ways, right? At first, things seemed pretty smooth sailing. Meek even joined Nicki on her Pink Print tour as her opening act for the North American leg. They were all loved up for a good couple of years until things took a turn for the toxic, and they eventually went their separate ways. Back then, the reasons behind their split were kind of murky, but the social media shade they threw at each other hinted that things got pretty heated.
But do you think it's a lot of undercover brothers in the industry?
Oh no, Queen. We don't know nothing about undercovers. Oh no. We don't know about that.
Okay. Because I do.
For the end. But then, things took a turn when Nicki dropped a snippet from her upcoming docuseries, Queen, the documentary, set to stream on HBO Max. It was a short clip, less than a minute long, but boy, did it pack a punch. You could tell Nicki chose that particular snippet for a reason. It was raw, emotional, and it showed a side of her we rarely see. Remember when my mother would let my father be violent with her? And she always brings up the story, as a little girl, I would stand in front of my mother and go like this. And I vowed, that's why I'm, maybe some people would describe me as abrasive or whatever, because I vowed from that age no man would ever abuse me, call me out my name, treat me like that. And then, all of a sudden, that was my life. In the snippet, Nicki got visibly emotional. Emotional and choked up, she opened up about something deeply personal. It was clear this was a tough topic for her to broach. While she was sharing her truth, she didn't name any names or point fingers directly at anyone as the person who had been violent toward her. She didn't even drop any hints about when this happened, leaving viewers guessing about the identity of the man she was referring to. But here's the kicker. Not long after Nicki dropped that bombshell snippet from her docuseries, Meek Mill went and slapped her with a cease and desist letter, basically telling her to zip it about him in the series. Now, isn't that something? Keep in mind, before Meek, Nicki was with Safari Samuels for a solid 14 years, and after Meek, she had a fling with Nas for about a year. So theoretically, any of these guys could have been the subject of Nicki's emotional reveal. But guess who's the only one who decided to go all defensive and legal on her? You got it, Meek Mill. Smooth move, buddy. His reaction only fueled the speculation fire. Suddenly, everyone was pointing fingers his way, wondering if he was the one Nicki was talking about. And to add fuel to the fire, old clips of them started popping up like mushrooms after rain. There's this one video where Meek was acting mean to Nicki in public, and she looked pretty uncomfortable, to say the least. Did you catch that subtle shift in her expression? She was all smiles, and then something he said seemed to hit her hard, and her whole demeanor changed. It was like watching a mood swing in real time, and it definitely raised eyebrows. And let's talk about those shady moves Meek pulled post-breakup. I mean, come on, dissing your ex in a song right after she got engaged? For example, when she got engaged to Kenneth Petty, he recorded a song dissing her. He said, "This is beyond me. You were supposed to be my Beyoncé. Now you this man's fiancé." His lyrics were like a low blow, implying that she had somehow downgraded by getting engaged to Kenneth Petty. But wait, it gets even juicier.
My mother would let my father be violent with her. And she always brings up the story as a little girl. I would stand in front of my mother and go like this. And I vowed, like, that's why I'm, like, maybe some people would describe me as abrasive or bitchy or whatever, because I vowed from that age, no man would ever abuse me, call me out my name, treat me like that. And then all of a sudden, that was my life.
Fast forward to 2020, Nicki and Kenneth were out and about, minding their own business, when who do they bump into? None other than Meek himself. And boy, did things escalate quickly. The encounter turned into a full-blown heated argument that ended with Meek getting escorted out of the store. Talk about drama. But wait, there's more. Just when you thought the saga couldn't get any messier, Meek goes and likes a shady post on social media that's throwing shade at Nicki's husband. The post was mocking Kenneth for his fashion choices, basically calling him a mannequin, which was just messy. Well, Nicki was done staying silent, and she took to Twitter to bash Meek, saying, "Trigger fingers turned to Twitter fingers. Bad build face obsessed with the queen." She continued, "He been tweeting about my man for a year now, talking about he went to my page to see him but he was blocked. Dude, move on. I know you're woman embarrassed. Crapped yourself in that store when you got pressed though." She also shaded him on her Instagram stories, saying, "You a clown. You do it for likes, Twitter fingers, beat women, scared of men." When she said this, she was basically accusing Meek of being the man who had laid hands on her when they were together. But then Meek Mill fired back at her, saying, "The only way you can try to kill my career is to say I beat women. Talk about your brother convicted of rape, and you've been new and paid for his lawyer. Your little brother touched that. Little girl too, you know. I know you want me to crash with your boyfriend, and I won't." We know that whenever anybody argues with Nicki, they always bring up her brother and husband and their SA convictions. It's always the go to clap back against her, so it's not surprising that Meek went there, he continued. "You said you're willing to crash your man because you're losing now, and everybody in the industry knows you're a bad person. You even knew your brother was saying. That's why I got away from you." But Nicki was not going to go down without a fight, and she hit back, exposing him for having a long track record of putting his hands on women. She said, "You beat your own sister and taped it, spit on her and taped it, kicked me in front of your mother and sent her to the hospital. Sucking Drake's D made you feel tough again. Move on." Imagine talking about an alleged essay of a child to hurt someone who wasn't involved, just so people can dislike me. You can never stand on your own. You won't tell people the mother is on tape asking me for $20 million to make the charges go away. Though you were around, you know. See you soon. And that was how Nicki finally confirmed that Meek was indeed the boyfriend who was beating on her. Meek then fired back at her, saying, "Surrounded by bad guys, talking what? Stop playing. You picked a great time to be saying I ever put my hands on you. You're full of hate, and the whole industry knows you're full of hate, and your bag's getting low, so you want to destroy me," he continued. "I can't believe y'all industry people let these people survive this long in the game, knowing they're really nasty people and have a nasty upbringing. Everybody really knows what's going on. I'm powerful, and I'm never scared to speak up. For clarification, I don't hit women, and I won't let my interview be filled with questions about her or any situation to do with her when I come out to do press for my new album. No devil's tricks. My girl is with me, pregnant. Watching me tweet about my ex is very clownish. EMA exit." Now this is a hot mess, and it sent the internet into flames because it's not every day that two rappers get involved in this type of mess. But the thing is, a lot of people didn't believe Nicki and accused her of lying about her DV. Unfortunately, this sort of thing is very common when women speak up about being victims, and they get shamed for it, and people don't believe them, especially if they don't speak up immediately. So yeah, it's not surprising that Nicki would want to get her revenge on him in the most humiliating way possible, even if it means that Diddy gets humiliated as well. See, at the time, Nicki was being managed by Diddy, and Meek was being managed by Roc Nation, which is owned by, guess who, Diddy's bestie, Jay-Z, that's who. Allegedly, Diddy was already having an affair with Meek at the time, which means that in addition to Meek allegedly putting his hands on Nicki, he was also cheating on her with someone who portrayed himself as his mentor, which is just messed up. Nicki ended up dropping Diddy as her manager after she realized that he had been playing her the entire time and had been enabling Meek Mill to put paws on her and treat her badly just so that Meek would continue.